This is the radio guy, Dr. Mike France. We have on the line with us Coach Ryan Mahon. The Bucks go to Cisco to take care of the Wranglers in a delayed game and getting back in the wee hours of the morning. I know that you're weathered and tired, so we'll get this in and out. How you doing, Coach? And welcome to this week's edition of the Mahon Show.
Oh, doing really well. Anytime you come back from a win, winning, it can cure a lot of things, and we're super happy about the result.
Well, first, let's talk about this huge delay that you had, and you guys finally get the victory by the score of 42 to 30. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, the whole week was kind of interesting. Hurricane Harvey, and we talked about it last week. Lots of things happened. Life happened, and this team persevered through it. There's a lot of adversity. We talk about it all the time. How football reflects life, and life reflects football. And we overcame a bunch of adversity. We missed out on 2 practices last week. School was closed. So then we had 2 practices and a walkthrough, and we're going to our first game, and that makes you kind of nervous with a young team. And these guys came out, and they did nothing but good things the entire time. And then we're going in, and we start getting a lightning delay with 46 seconds left in the second quarter. And they say, hey, we're going to postpone this. We're going to give you a 30-minute, halftime, and then we're going to play the second quarter and then play the rest of it. Well, come 10:05, finally, we actually get back out there. We can warm up. At that point, I think it was 30-6. We were rolling. I mean, we had every bit of momentum, but going to a place like that at Cisco, Texas, it's always hard to play there. And then you have that big delay. You lost the big momentum. You got young kids that are trying to stay focused. And they came out kind of flat in the second half, but that stuff we could teach from, And, we held on. We got the win. We got out of there. We came home, and we're going to get a chance to reflect after your first game. And I really feel like it's going to be a good chance for us to make, a lot of improvement. After that first and second game, that's the biggest change in your team. I think that's going to reflect that next week.
Talking with Coach Ryan Mahon, the Bucks go on the road with another delay, I guess, as the backdraft of Hurricane Harvey, and the Bucks pull off the win 42 to 30. Coach, give us a recap on how your scoring came out and who were able to be some reflective moments for yesterday's victory.
I think Devin Williams at quarterback, he really grew up. He hadn't played in a year and a half. I mean, we're talking about this, in that delay during the halftime where, hey, you haven't played. You're making plays right now that are good, but you're making some, boneheaded mistakes too. He had a couple interceptions, and he reflected on that, and I think he's gonna build as an athlete, as a leader, and he's gonna just grow. We had some good running back play in Carlos Grace. He really showed up as a freshman. And then our receiving corps across the board, I didn't know. I knew what we recruited. I knew the talent that we had. Those guys, man, we had some big plays out there, and I'm really, really proud of them. Up front, we're starting to gel in the offensive line. I mean, you got 5 big uglies up there that hadn't really played, together, and it takes some time for that chemistry to get going. And it takes that first game to knock off any kind of rust. The defense came along. I mean, there was some misalignment stuff that any first game, and I told the team after it, I expected it, where you're going to have first game mistakes. So they had that. They shouldn't have scored probably about 4 of their touchdowns. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about how we can improve. And each and every one of those kiddos, it was really kind of interesting. After the game, they seemed like they were disappointed after the win. And I had one lineman say, man, we just won. Why is everybody so down? Well, they have a high expectation. And that's what's really neat about this team.
Well, when you got high expectations and you know that even though you got the victory and you didn't execute the way you should have, as you stated, that makes you very excited to be coaching a group of young men like that, and it'll have you to build. And speaking of building, your next time out will be against Navarro, another worthy opponent, but this time you at least have the comforts of being at home. So how are you guys sizing up and preparing for this game against Navarro that's coming up this week?
The good thing about this game, we came out relatively injury-free, which is great, and now it's just get this corrected today And then we have victory Mondays. Every time you have a victory, Monday you have off, and then it happens to be Labor Day to boot. But they're going to be watching the film. This team is hungry. They want to make sure that they're prepared, doing everything they can. It's a unique group, and every week I learn a little bit more about them just because they're so dang young, and they just want to do the right thing in everything they do. Just trying to impress, trying to be the best in the classroom, be the best in the field, be the best person they can be. So that's what we're going to do each and every day. We're going to go 1-0 every week, as I stated to begin with.
Well, that's the desire. Go 1-0 each week, and when you look behind you, you have a bunch of 1-0 weeks. You end up 9-0, 10-0, and that's always a good thing to go. Now, as far as your keys for Navarro, who are some of the key guys you're going to have to look out for, and what's the plan of executing your plans for the victory on this coming week?
As I watched them just tentatively, like I said, we got in so dang late. I watched a little bit of them last week, not trying to look ahead. They're going to be good on defense. Frank Gush, their defensive coordinator, he's a good one. I've known him through the recruiting trail. He's been a head coach before, and then Cody Krill, their head coach, he's really good on offense. They moved their defense. They've changed it from a 3-4 scheme to it looks like more of a 4-2 scheme. Defensive front, they're big. They're big, and they're going to be hard to move. Their running back is pretty dang good. They do the same things they've done before. They're more of a power run scheme. They do spread it out. The quarterback's not a big-time runner. He's going to be a drop-back guy and trying to manage the game. So we just got to go out and spread them out and try to find out where they're coming from and then try to execute our offense.
Now, Coach, maybe you can help me figure this thing out. It seems like all of a sudden now, and I do know football is a game of copycats. When works good for one person, they all keep trying it. But this 4-2-5, this nickel defense, when did that really start being the go-to defense for most of the teams?
Well, in this conference, it's been there for probably about the last 6-7 years. Everybody got it from Dick Bumpus at TCU or Gary Patterson. Well, Dick Bumpus was defensive coordinator and Gary Patterson was GA long time ago. And then, Gary Patterson hired Dick Bumpus, and Dick Bumpus is retired. So everybody's gotten it kind of from them, and kind of copycatted it, done it from there. And it's really the defense that defend against the spread. And it's really caught on in this conference. There's a lot of defense being played right now. I know Trinity Valley beat Navarro this week, 25-19 on last play. NEO beat New Mexico Military 40-7. All these teams are playing the same kind of defense. So it's one that you got to be prepared for as an offensive coach because everybody's kind of the same, but they have their little intricate details that are different.
Well, one of the myths about that 4-2-5 defense is that it has been a theory that is not really a physical, it's more of a finesse-style defense, but that's not the case this day.
No, not at all. I mean, you get put into certain situations where they're going to come up and hit you in the mouth. You got to be prepared for it. You got to protect the football. It's so adjustable, that you got to be able to adjust as an offensive coordinator and make sure you put you guys in the best position possible.
Now, we have a lot of people who hear A gaps, B gaps, and things of that nature. We try to bring somewhat of an educational level to it. Could you explain to our listening audience what an A gap is and a B gap, and then they say in the 3 position or the 2, just for clarity, because you'll be amazed at the people who will listen and never have a clue of what exactly is being talked about.
No, I understand completely. The A gap is between the center and the guard. The B gap is between the guard and the tackle. And then you can add the tight end, which will be the C gap. And then obviously you've got the D, the outside, anything outside the tight end. And then you can obviously add a whole bunch of things where you can move linemen over and add an extra gap. So defensively, what you want to do, and it's my philosophy, you have to be gap sound, because a good running back, let's say you hand it off, he's going to find a vacant gap. So you have to fill every one of those gaps defensively to make sure that there's just no holes. It's like a dam, if you will. And then on the back end of it, you have to tie everything together because the ball travels farther and faster through the air. So if you're not covering a guy, and that happened last night, we had a guy just running scot-free because they didn't cover him. Well, we had a huge gain, put us on a 3, and he was just running, scot-free.
So you maintain the gaps, everybody hold their position, and hope that the guys don't blow the assignments in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, if that happens, it's pretty apparent pretty quick.
Wow.
You've got a guy running uncovered. Something happened with the secondary. There's misalignments. If we do any kind of motion, that will mess with the defense. So, there's a lot to it. People say that, hey, the dumb football player, quote unquote. No, there's a lot of stuff happening, and then you put up tempo on it. Then really things start to open up pretty big.
Well, I guess another key role in that particular defense would have to be your strong safety, too, because that's that hybrid type back. He's got the strength and the missile-seeking performance of a linebacker, but yet the speed of a defensive back. So how critical is that strong safety in that 4-2-5 defense?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. One, you just get aligned, okay, because what they do with the 4-2-5 generally, okay, is they align up front to the strength of the formation. So wherever your tight end is, whatever defense corner deems as a strength, and then your secondary has a strength, which is generally to the field or the passing strength of formation. So if you have three receivers to one side, that's a passing strength for sure. But then let's say I've got a tight end on the backside, that's your front strength. So it poses some big things that you have to take account for as a defense coordinator.
Now, do you guys run a lot of zones in your schemes, or do you try to go man to man?
We've shifted to both, actually. Last year we were a bunch of man because we had the personnel to do it. We had Kendall Sheffield, we had Devontae Dean, we had Corian Ballard. We could go man to man and be great with it. This year, just to be a little bit more sound and safe, because you put a guy on the island man on man, that could be a scary thing in this league because there's a lot of playmakers and receivers.
Absolutely.
So this year we're doing a little bit of both. We're discoing, which is disguising in the secondary, and then we're so good up front defensive line-wise, which I thought before last night, but then after last night it really showed that we're pretty stout up front defensively. So that gives me some options at the back end where we can be a little bit more risky. I guess you could say we could take some chances because we're going to put pressure on the quarterback.
Well, that is definitely, when you got the guys up front, that takes a lot of pressure mainly off of your linebackers, which can give them the ability to get from sideline to sideline and the underneath routes on the passing. Because when you're playing these spreads, it's a lot of quick hitches, a lot of passes, and then you can even press on your cornerbacks because you got guys up front that's collapsing that wall, if you will, for the quarterback's protection.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. And then, you have to also answer the question of how you're going to handle run-pass option, the RPO. And a lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll man everybody up, and then put pressure up front. So that's something that's weighing big on everybody right now. It's the change in the game, in my opinion, with offenses across the board. Everybody's running an RPO. How effective are you at it? How much have you bought in? But defensively, how are you going to defend against it? So that's definitely posed some questions that everybody in America is having to answer right now.
Wow. We're talking X's and O's with Coach Ryan Mahon of the Blinn Buccaneers, victorious against Cisco 42-30 on what seemed to be a marathon of a game. Guys getting back 5 a.m. in the morning. Coach is right back at it. That's the life of a football coach, though, huh, Coach?
It is the season. This is what we look forward to. It's not like we're playing baseball where, hey, if we have a loss, we get to play next day or 2 days from now. We've got, right now, 8 games guaranteed to us, and then the playoff. So we've got to make hay with what we've got, and then improve a young team, and it's a fun time of year.
Well, I keep laughing. I keep hearing you say young team. Well, Coach, that's going to always be your case just about, especially on the JUCO level, when you have 2 years to get it right with these guys and most of them are gone. So there's a different approach and a different mentality. It's almost like speed warp. I don't have time for you to be trying to get it together, young man. You got to come in here locked and loaded and ready to go. So
well, that's right. What I told them last night, just because it was our first game, I go, you freshmen, you're no longer freshmen. You've got game experience now. So now we're going. We're rolling. You understand what we expect. You understand, why the coaches are hollering and screaming at you and they're trying to improve upon you. And you sophomores, hey, you're leaving. You're getting a chance to get recruited right now. This is your film. So I think, and we haven't had a team meeting yet. That's at 5:30 today. We're going to re-harp on that. And just kind of this is our state of the union at this moment. How can we improve? And it's a neat thing to have a win under your belt and be able to do that.
Now, with that, Coach, you have to have almost a different approach and a different philosophy. We talked last week about your recruiting. You don't need guys that you can develop. You need guys that can come right in. They might need to be fine-tuned on some things, but for the most part, they are a big raw piece of clay that's ready to be molded for their next assignment. So you got to be almost like a microwave approach into getting results. Do you feel added pressure than that of a 4-year coach?
You know, in the development of them, a little bit, it's all in your approach to begin with, on how you shape them from day one and how you talk to them. And these are the things that are expected. These are what's going to be expected at the next level. And, you know, you get a good kid that you recruit. You do it in the recruitment process. You have a guy that's really, he's got a fire underneath him already, and you can see it when you talk to him. I want to improve. I want this. I have certain goals. I have certain expectations. That's a guy that you can reach instantly, as opposed to a guy that doesn't really understand it, doesn't really care, I guess you could say, doesn't have the team as his best interest. And trust me, you can see that when you're talking to the parents. You can see that when you're talking to the kid in the recruitment process. And I've literally gone into that. I want to meet every kid before I offer them. I won't offer them like just willy-nilly, like anybody, hey, you got an offer. They're going to meet with me first. And then either I do or I don't offer, or I'm going to hold. And then we go from there. But everything's up front. Everything's honest. I mean, there's no sleight of game in any stretch. I'll just tell a kid, hey, we like somebody better right now. You came up on your visit, but this is where we're at. Or, hey, you've got an offer, and I want you to play for me. I want you to score a bunch of touchdowns. I want you to make a bunch of tackles on defense. You're a guy that completely fits in. And you can tell pretty quick once you've done this enough.
Well, it is definitely a game of speed when you're dealing with the JUCO level. And I'm not talking about the literal speed, but everything is moving in warp speed. These guys have to get ready academically and then physically, whatever their sport of choice. And, of course, in this case, it's football. And they have to have some type of maturity level to adjust real quick in order to move on. And speaking of adjusting real quick, we got a debut coming up this week, Coach. We're going to have some Buccaneer football on the OpenMic Broadcast Network, as you guys will be hosting Navarro. Have you got excited about that yet?
Yes, there's no question. I mean, we're reaching a wide population base. I mean, anything we can do to get our brand out there, I'm all for. It's a great thing. I mean, I'm excited about it. I've talked to our kids about it. They're excited about it because a lot of them, it's near their hometown, so their parents can hear it if they don't come to the game. But we travel so dang well. We had as many people in our stands last night at Cisco as Cisco had. And Cisco's a far place for us. So we've got a great, fan base. People love us. And this is just one more cog to the wheel.
Yes, sir, and we're excited. It'll be, of course, on obn-radio.com, the home of OpenMic Broadcast Network, and the Blinn Buccaneer football. I'm real proud to say that. Kickoff time will be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, will be on Channel 1 on the Broadcast Live page. Coach, we are truly, truly excited, amped up. Anything you want to share on this final segment of this week's edition?
Just that I'm proud of my kids. I'm proud of the adversity they went through. I'm just proud of everything we did as a team, and we have a chance to improve. And that's all you can ask for as a coach.
Well, Coach, we want you to get some rest. I know you guys got a late travel back with the thunderstorm delays and the 30-minute half times. And then, of course, with your fasting process, I hope you didn't feel weak-kneed at the end of that game, man.
No, I got a good breakfast today. My wife woke me up, but I didn't eat all the way through the day. It was a long day, but no, my wife took care of me this morning.
Okay, well, very good. You keep getting your strength up, and we will be looking forward to the game debut. The Bucs will be hosting Navarro, 7 p.m. on Brenham Cub Field in Brenham, Texas, and the kickoff time, as we mentioned, will be 7 p.m. Bucks pregame show will start at 6:45, and we'll be there to give you every action as it unfolds. And hopefully, Coach, we can pull you up there and talk to you a little post-game action once everything gets settled up. But
yeah, just come down there on the field. That'd be great.
Yes, sir. Well, I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and he is the man of the Bucks, Coach Ryan Mahon, and this has been another edition of the Ryan Mahon Show. We will get back with you guys on the following week, hopefully with another win underneath the belt, and talk some more X's and O's with Coach Ryan Mahon. Until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.